Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
Thank you so much for joining us. And Mom, can you believe that we're already at the end of November and we still have more shows for this fall season?
I know it's so hard to believe, Brandon.
But Mom, I hope you're doing well and you're able to let us know what show we're speaking about here today.
Yes, today we're going to talk about St. Denis Medical.
Yes, there's a new show airing on the NBC television network. And Mom, I'm pretty excited to touch on the show.
Yeah, I sure am, Brandon. Let me give just a very brief synopsis to our viewing audience. Right now, I call this kind of a hospital dramedy. It's a half-hour hospital dramedy. It takes place in the emergency room. In this particular show, the lives of doctors and nurses are kind of explored, but it seems to be relayed through the moments of their day to a camera, per se. And the characters do speak to the camera and they look to the camera also. But they are just relaying parts of their lives as it has happened during their day or things that are going on. It focuses on just several characters, meaning that there is a main nurse in here. We have executive director of the hospital, who is extremely important because she is the one who kind of provides direction to the hospital. And she kind of believes that she wants to untap the potential of the particular hospital. And so then we have a couple doctors. We have two other nurses. One nurse is very new. The other nurse has experience coming in, and like I said, the doctors. One is a trauma surgeon, and the other doctor is a kind of general practitioner type of doctor, all working in the emergency room. And so each day everything that happens kind of differs. And so that basically is the TV show in a nutshell, Brandon.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
Yeah, and so it's really interesting. Yeah, like I said, diving into another show and one with a mockumentary style format.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it is. It reminded me a little bit of Abbott. So for those of you guys who do watch Abbott, it is kind of like that, and like you said, the mockumentary style.
Yeah, and I think that even though this format has been around for a moment, I think really in this last 10, 15, 20 years, I think it's really has taken up a notch.
It is taken up a notch because in the day of YouTube and social media, we see that cameras are more used in real life. And so, in the cases now in which they're having TV shows, they kind of use cameras or someone's following them around. They kind of use it in a way like that for some of our TV shows that are on now.
Yes, it definitely has made its way to the sitcom format. But Mom, overall, what were your thoughts about it? I know we're speaking about, like I said, the first two that aired, but three have aired thus far.
Yeah, and I've seen all three, and actually, Brandon, I did like all three. It's To me, it's a quick watch per se. I think the show's written really well. The characters are believable. The experiences that they have, I'm pretty sure, are believable too. It seems like it's going to be a nice, good show.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely enjoyed it as well, and I think for every sort of mockumentary style show, it takes I think a moment for me to sort of get used to and sort of like get acquainted with it, as opposed to some other formats. But in the same regard, I thought it was very humorous, and like you were saying, I think it does compare a lot to Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, and that is one thing I do like about the show. It is humorous, but they do kind of tackle some serious topics in kind of a humorous way.
Yeah, definitely, and and I feel like even though this is not labeled as a pilot by any means, I think the first episode at least, does a good job at sort of establishing where we are, where the characters are, and where we can go from here.
Yeah, it does do a good job of kind of laying the groundwork on each of the characters, and you get to know them personally along with their job themselves.
Yeah, and even though we have sort of an ensemble group of workers, there are a few I think that stand out a little bit more than others as of right now.
Yeah, they do have a few that kind of stand out. For me, Nurse Alex stands out. She's the main head nurse, and then the two doctors both stand out for me. Um, the trauma surgeon and the general practitioner doctor. All three of them kind of stand out. They do have one other character who, well, I should say there are two others, so I don't want to leave it at that. There are two others. We have the executive director of the hospital who stands out along with the new nurse who is there.
Yeah, and so like I said, out of those, I think it did a good job, like I said, of for each of these episodes, sort of focusing on a little bit of different areas. But I think for the first episode, that it really focused on, Nurse Alex and her need to be involved with the hospital and still get adjusted to her job while still being there with her family.
Yeah, and I thought they did a nice job of incorporating their personal lives in with the show also because during that first episode, you not only learn them as characters, you learn about as them working in a hospital, you learn about their home life too.
Yes, and even for the second episode, let's say that we're discussing, I feel like was a lot more about Joyce and how she is uh, trying to figure out, like, the boundaries between her home life and her work life, which makes me wonder a little bit if obviously it's a workplace comedy, but I'm curious as to if they will ever go to their personal lives.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if they actually do kind of bring in those extra parts of their lives into the story itself, meaning the extra characters that will go along with their work characters.
Yes, and even having done a little bit of research, I did see that one of the characters that was a guest or recurring originally is now a series regular.
Yeah, yeah. I read that article too.
But yes, I believe that's a character, Val, who we saw in bits and pieces within the first episode and a little bit more in this recent episode 3.
Yes, yes.
So we do have a little bit of an intro sequence.
Oh, we do. What is that?
So yeah, so it seems like a little 20-second, 30-second little intro of sort of, I guess, fun moments at the hospital, serious moments, and just sort of flashes before we head right into the episode.
Yeah, we do. You're correct, Brandon. We do have a little bit of an intro. It's not a theme song for me. It's more so just a little intro sequence and it does show a little bit about their lives.
But yeah, and so I'm curious as to let's say if it'll stick around for the whole series because I do know that some of these shows get sort of truncated intros as they progress. But of course, this trend that we've noticed is that we're getting theme songs less and less, and now more of these short instrumental intros.
Yeah, we are. We are. And when we hear those theme songs, it just stands out whenever we see them. Yeah.
But going back to what I was about to mention earlier, so something that we have been doing for each of these new shows that have been coming out is saying a little bit as to what we like about the show and what we would like to see for the season.
All right. For what I like about the show is I like the writing. I think the writers are doing a really great job. What I'd like to see further from the show, kind of like you mentioned, they mentioned their personal lives. So I'd like to see if any family members do kind of show up for any of these characters. Um, so that I think would be interesting to see if they're able to bring in this other portion, or are they going to make this just contained in the hospital itself?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in and seeing what they do with that. And for me, what I'd like to see in this season 2 is I'd like to learn more, of course, about each of the characters. And I don't know, I kind of actually want to see like some recurring characters potentially stop by because I mean it is a hospital setting. I do know that there are some people that probably might be there more than others, and some side characters. So that way, it's not just a like a six person job that we're able to see some other people. And I mean, of course, there are a lot of doctors walking around in the background, but I'd like to see some of them come to the forefront, maybe get a name, a little personality.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I do know that the chaplain they have on there, he has. I did read that he's going to come back for future episodes. But yes, I do know what you mean. To see if they have some other characters that just kind of pop up and provide a little bit of extra spice to the series.
Yeah, I definitely hope that they do. And something else that I would like to see is, is them being put into I don't know, like situations that they don't expect, but aren't necessarily just like hospital based per se. I mean, because obviously they work in an emergency room. There's going to be situations they don't expect, but but rather ones that are more about their personal lives.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see, like you said, if they're going to take this out of the hospital altogether and to bring and to kind of show them at their home life, which will bring, of course, even though they talk about their home life, they'll still bring a different perspective onto it.
Yeah, and like we were mentioning earlier, this is a mockumentary format. But no, Mom, we rewatched the first episode to see if they even explain this aspect.
Yeah, and that bothered me a little bit because they didn't explain it, or at least in the in what I saw. And we've watched it twice, so unless I kind of blinked a little bit, which has been known to happen, I do not recall the reasoning for the mockumentary, unless it has to do with really with Joyce, who is the executive director of the hospital, as she's trying to show positive light of her hospital now and show everything that and highlight her hospital.
Yeah, that's personally what I imply. I don't know if they're ever going to say anything concrete. I know different from what I've read anyway. Different shows, do different things. Like since we were comparing to Abbott Elementary a little bit earlier, like I know for them they were saying that they're recording a video about underprivileged schools, and so the hospital in this case seems to be sort of in that same boat. So I'm curious as to if they'll ever make light of it, or if it's just something that they just do when that's it.
Yeah, yeah, we'll have to watch some more episodes to see if they actually explain it.
But Mom, will you continue watching the show for the first season?
I sure will. I sure will.
Yes, I definitely will as well. We have quite a bit of shows on our plate now.
Yeah, we do. It keeps us very busy, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Well, Mom, I
All right.
always enjoy doing this with you.
And Brandon, I enjoy doing it with you also. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today, and we hope to see you next time.
Have a wonderful day.
All right, bye, everybody.